Okay, Sistas fans. Now, we talked about this subject before on the channel, and other fans have discussed this possibility as well during the first couple seasons of the show. And that relates to the possibility, that is, that Andi grew up witnessing an abusive relationship from her parents. Now, in last week's episode, we learned a bit about her parents finally. I mean, if I remember correctly, the Rico episode, it was like Old Faithful or Old Reliable, one of the season 1 episodes. After Karen mentioned something about her mom and there's some advice that she would give, Andi mentioned, "Oh wow, I need to talk to Miss Lisa. I haven't heard from her in a while, and also I need to call my mom." And then I think it was last season, right before Miss Lisa left, in the salon, Karen was talking about how, "Oh, you're talking about my mom watching me like a hawk, like your mom doesn't do the same thing to you." Well, yeah, you're right. So that's pretty much it. Those were the only two instances I can recall where Andi mentioned her parents, her mother specifically. Now, in last week's episode, she reflected on, riding the bus, what that meant to her growing up. And she mentioned she lived in a two-parent household, both were hardworking. Unfortunately, her father passed, and some people have taken that to say, or taken that to mean, well, notice that Andi really didn't talk a lot about her dad. Well, it could be, one or two things. That her dad died, and that's a sensitive subject. But then again, some people have interpreted it as, well, look at it this way. What if, I don't want to say she's glad her dad's dead, but maybe they didn't have such a great relationship, so that's why she didn't want to say too much about him and mainly focus more on her mom in terms of reflecting. And, both being hardworking and whatnot, maybe there were, and again, this is just headcanon here, but maybe not having a lot, despite both parents being hard workers, led to some frustration. Maybe, her dad would come home from work tired and, quick to anger, and he would lash out at his wife, or maybe there was some pressure that his wife put on him. It's like, you know what, I'm over here. I shouldn't have to work two jobs. You should be a man and bring enough money home where I wouldn't have to work. So it could have been some back and forth between the two. And given that was the kind of environment Andi might have grown up in, that could explain why she had, that abusive relationship, or excuse me, that could be why she stayed in that abusive relationship in college until her friends, stepped in and did whatever they did to get rid of that guy. Or when it came to Gary, just the manipulation and the bruised ribs and whatnot. It's one of those things where Andi is doing what she saw as a child. And even worse is that, well, my mom dealt with this and we barely had anything. And I'm going to deal with this. And this is a man who's giving me everything. So that's the only kind of relationship she's accustomed to because that's all she's seen. And that's why, what she said in season 2 to Karen was, "I'm getting what I deserve." It's just one of those things where it's like, wow, is there a deeper meaning to that? Like, does Andi carry around some guilt? I don't think it has to do with just her having that affair with Gary, but if you go back to that relationship in college, which we still don't know much about, aside from it being an abusive one, did Andi steal that guy from another girl? I don't know. It's just one of those things where I really wish we had those college episodes where we would see younger actors portray the characters. We see how they met and learn more about their background. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's possible that Andi didn't say much about her dad because they, thinking back, he wasn't the best man? Or do you just think it was, yeah, I don't want to talk about it because he passed and that's a sensitive subject? So let's talk about it in the comments section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.